Alright, I guess this is a little bit of an unusual video, even though it's not really because I've done tier lists before. But every October, or at least the past 2 Octobers, I like to do this thing where I'll compile a list of horror movies and watch them for each day of October. And that's been really fun, by the way. Love doing that. But this year I had I started off the first 6 days of October with every Scream movie, and that gave me the idea to make this video. And so yeah, we'll get into the main course of it all. Today I'm going to be ranking every single Ghostface killer throughout the Scream movies. And so when I say every single Ghostface killer, I mean every single Ghostface killer. And yeah, despite the lovely pictures I've gathered of everyone here today, this isn't going to be based on personality. So I've decided that the way I want to rank these killers is going to be based off of their reveal, their motives, their kills, and their chemistry as Ghostface teams. That'll also play into account. Okay, and yeah, I guess if it wasn't obvious by now, there's going to be spoilers for every single Scream movie, so you know, I don't know why you would click on this if you haven't seen them, but just in case you haven't, yeah, there's your warning. Alright, I'm gonna get these tiers set up and then we'll start. Alright, now that these tiers are renamed and ordered, we'll go ahead and start with the rankings. And of course, who else to start with than okay, so usually I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, without the original we wouldn't have all of this, but Billy and Stu really set the stage for all of this shit. Okay, so for starters, the chemistry between these two, I think, is, just by looking through the rest of the list, I really do think it's unmatched by any other Ghostface pair. On top of that, their reveals were also very solid. Yeah, these two just overall really set the stage. Like, Stu was so good at being, if someone were to watch Scream for the first time, I don't think anyone would suspect that Stu would be one of the killers. Or, okay, first of all, they wouldn't suspect that there would be two. That's the twist. But yeah, they wouldn't guess that it would be Stu. And then Billy also faked his attack and kind of his death towards the end of the movie too. So yeah, these two, for having no stab movies to go off of, these two were some genius Ghostface. So yeah, I'll put Billy in Unfuckwithable, and then Stu right next to him, just because, you know.
Don't fuck with the original.
Yeah, we're doing every single Ghostface. So Sidney has a bit towards the end of the first Scream where she steals like the voice modulator and then the costume and all that, and she gets the jump on Billy and Stu, and it's an entertaining scene, honestly. Like, I really like Sidney as Ghostface, even though it would never make sense for her to really become Ghostface.
You would have made a good killer, Gale. Sidney never would have made sense, and Dewey was the fan favorite, but you...
But yeah, she does a good job at speaking like the killers, and she's pretty agile as well. And she even caught a body, so you know. I guess that's like the standard, but still. Motive, they were Ghostface first, so that's kind of weak. I'd say Sidney's an okay Ghostface. It's not fair to her though, because she gets like no time in the mask. So yeah, it's not really comparable to almost everyone else on this list who gets hours in the film to like really establish themselves as Ghostface. But I decided I'm ranking every Ghostface, so you know, she has to be here. And next we have Mickey Altieri. I'll be honest, I'm not really impressed with him. It kind of felt like an obvious killer just because he wasn't really in Scream 2 for like much of anything. And so when he shows up again, you can see him, it's just like, or you see him like with the wife, and it's just like, oh yeah, of course it would be you. But at the same time, you wouldn't even think to consider it just because of how absent he is the entire movie. His motives were, I don't even remember, actually, give me a sec. Okay, well, that's very weak. So in the first movie, there's a thing where like there's this common like theme with like Billy and Stu. Sidney called them sick because they had seen too many movies, but then she was like or they were like,
Sid, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Basically Mickey is that he wanted to get caught for these killings, and then he wanted the fame or the infamy, I guess, from being the actual killer. Yeah, weak motive, honestly. The kills in Scream 2 are pretty nice though, especially the one with like the, well, I guess this wasn't really like him, anyone could have done this, but with the cop on the top of the windshield, that was a great kill. Mickey, he is fine, I guess. I mean, I'm contemplating putting him in the boo tier just because like there wasn't much that was redeemable, but he was in Scream 2, and Scream 2 is a really good movie, so he gets a pass for that. Alright, immediately she's going into super solid. Throughout the entirety of this movie, I was so confused on who this lady was. They kept following Gail around, and then it turns out she was just using a secret identity. Dude, my jaw dropped to the ground at her reveal. And then on top of that, her motive was being that she wanted revenge on Sidney for her son, for Billy, because she killed him. That's great. Like, it's simplistic, but there's not much that's beating a revenge plot in my eyes. And then on top of all that, Nancy is just scary. Like, she has eyes that widen like farther than I have ever seen before, and it's weird seeing a real person do that. She reminds me of like Mrs. Voorhees in a way, but like, I don't know, I'm more scared of her than I am of Mrs. Voorhees. So yeah, Nancy solidified herself as a super solid Ghostface. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it. No chemistry between these two, by the way. She literally tried to kill him. Okay, and now we have Roman, and I'll be honest, I fell asleep when I was watching this movie. Scream 3 isn't bad, but it's definitely the worst of all 6 in my opinion. With that being said, Roman is an interesting character though, for sure. I'd say probably the best part of the movie, aside from Dewey and Gail getting married. But yeah, the situation here with Roman is that he is Sidney's half-brother, and he's going after her because their mother neglected him, and and she's already been dead for a long time, so you know, I guess he just has to enact it on whatever version of her's left, and that just happens to be Sidney. I remember Roman did fake his own death though, like legitimately, not how in the way Billy just kind of got attacked and then fell down the stairs. So yeah, that's impressive at least. He definitely took inspiration, but still, he actually went all out with it. He made himself, like, he stopped moving and everything. Aside from that, yeah, he's the only single Ghostface on the list, so you know, kudos for ambition. Yeah, I'd say he's fine. I don't have strong feelings towards Roman. The half-brother plot is cool, but like, I don't know. The motive just kind of, it falls flat for me. Like, they could have done so much more with that, in my opinion. I think I'm gonna move Sidney up, actually. It doesn't feel right having her in the same tier as these two, who are just like generally boring to me. Alright, and now we have Jill Roberts, another relative of Sidney Prescott. This killer probably had, I don't know, she had to grow on me the most for sure. Jill, once she's revealed though, she's a pretty solid character. Like, she spends the whole movie kind of just acting like this innocent, panicking girl. But then, you know, when it's actually time for her to show up and be Ghostface, she's really like active. I think the only thing that really throws me off about Jill being Ghostface is that she's so like weak. Like, she gets so much done in the Ghostface costume, but like, I don't know, I was watching her like be all threatening at the hospital, like, get up bitch, and all this and that, and it was just like, I could still tackle you. You're not scaring me just because you have a gun in your hand. But yeah, Jill is cool in my eyes, honestly. Her motive was pretty much a combination of Mickey's and Roman's in the way that she was like, she's related to Sidney, and so she wants the fame that she had. So that's like Roman's side of it, the relation. And then Mickey's side is that they both wanted fame. And for what it's worth, she almost gets away with it. Everyone is like pretty much down and out at the house, and they rescue her. And then Sidney, or not Sidney, God, Jill, you know, she wakes up and she gets to speak to like Dewey, I think it was. And then she gets to spin the story because everyone thinks she was innocent the entire time. And it almost works. It's the only reason Jill got caught was because of her slip up with Dewey, where she was like,
if I ever write a book one day, I'd want her to write it with me. We'd be a good team with our matching wounds and all.
but like, she shouldn't have known that Gail got stabbed there, so it was like an immediate, oh shit, Jill is actually Ghostface. But yeah, the more I think about it, I do like Sheila's Ghostface. It's just, I don't know, when you're watching the movie for the first or the second time, and then she's revealed, it's just kind of, it feels like whack, just because she spends the entire time being like, just not strong at all, and then Ghostface, or like, she's revealed to be Ghostface, and then she has this like whole dual wielding knife in one hand, pistol in the other. Like, that's cool, but it's just, it's so like conflicting, which I guess is good on her because it proves that she's a better actor than, you know, it proves that she's good at being Two-Face, which is perfect for someone going to be Ghostface.
I was so believable today, wasn't I? I mean, I told so many lies that I actually started to believe them. I really think that I was born for this.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that Jill is a good Ghostface. I'll put her right next to her beloved cousin. And now we have Charlie Walker. I'll be honest, I'm not too impressed with him. He's probably my least favorite on the list. Well, maybe not, okay. There's one other character that I have to get to. Basically, his whole thing was that he was obsessed with the stab movies. He even hosted a stab-a-thon. But yeah, him and Jill had pretty similar ideas as to where they would be the heroes of these Ghostface stabbings, except Charlie wanted to make a movie out of it. And even then, that works with Jill because she wants to be famous, so the movie would just add even more fame to it. So yeah, I'd say these two have pretty strong chemistry, just as Ghostface duos, as far as that goes. Charlie had one really nasty kill. It was like Terrifier levels of gory. Like, I saw that and I was like, Jesus. Like, I didn't think, like, there's no kill like that before Scream 4. And I loved it, honestly. I really do like Scream 4. It's one of my favorites in the series. Anyway, Charlie's whatever, I guess. His reveal kill, or kill, I guess, was his stab on Carvey. That was whatever. They really wanted you to believe that she was dead, though, because she gets stabbed, doesn't show up for the rest of Scream 4, doesn't show up in 5, and then just pops up out of nowhere in 6. So yeah, they really left you hanging with that one. But yeah, Charlie's not anything special to me. Alright, now we're getting to some of my favorites. Amber Freeman. I'll be honest, throughout the entirety, or I won't say entirety, throughout the majority of Scream 5, I really did not like Amber's character. She just felt like one of those, you know, like Emily from Until Dawn, just like one of those like bitchy asshole characters for no reason. I remember the entire time I was thinking two things every time Amber was on screen. I hope she gets killed early on, or I hope she's Ghostface. And lo and behold, I'll be honest, I really like her as Ghostface. I think out of all of the killers, yeah, she has my favorite reveal for sure. because it's just so sudden and unexpected. Like, even though I was hoping Amber would be Ghostface, I didn't actually think they would do that, just because I didn't think she had it in her, truly.
No, it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Let me guess, the movies made you do it?
No, it was the message board. I was radicalized.
But yeah, she's great. She's amazing as Ghostface. As for her motive, she was, or well, her motive and Richie's, I guess, but I'll get to that later. The plan was to create a requel for the Stab movies, which is where, yeah, I'd say the motive, this is probably the most meta motive of all the Ghostface killers. It's not the first time we've seen the motive being, oh, I like Stab, so I'll make a Stab movie. But I don't know, it's more about the execution in my mind, because she was so, I don't think you understand how tired I was of her character before she was Ghostface. And then she pulls out the gun and then she shoots Liz and she's like,
Welcome to Act 3.
Run!
Immediately my view of her did a complete 180. I was so excited to have her in the movie. But yeah, she also gets, this doesn't count towards anything, but she gets shot and then right after that she gets lit on fire. And so, you know, as far as Ghostface deaths go, that's the most unique on the list. But yeah, I like Amber. No, she's not super solid. I'll say she's good. She's more entertaining than lethal in my eyes. Cause like once she took the mask off, she wasn't really, I don't know, she didn't really have shit on lock. It was like she held people down or like at gunpoint and shit like that, but like, I don't know, I don't think she could have killed anyone in that situation. Like she got an easy kill on Liz, and then that's the only one that's really told to the audience. There are other kills in the movie, but like because it's a Ghostface, it's hard to tell if it's either her or, you know, her accomplice. But yeah, she wasn't really, I don't think she was that strong of a Ghostface, especially considering her proportions and all that, physicality wise. But yeah, anyway, I'm spending too much time on her. It's just I really like Amber. She's a little cutesy. Richie's an interesting case because it's like, as far as being Ghostface goes, we're 5 movies in, he's the love interest of the film, and he's Ghostface. That's kind of like as you watch these movies, you'll learn that that's an established rule to not trust the love interest. And so when it's actually Richie and then you find that out, it's just like, oh, well, he's just, you know, rule number 1. But it's so hard to like, it's like I could just take that into account, but Richie is so good throughout this movie. Like, not even just as Ghostface, as a character in general, which I know I said I wouldn't take into account, but it's just, it's eating away at me. He does a solid job in my eyes. He's, okay, objectively speaking, he's one of the more boring Ghostface on the list. Like, it'd be so easy just to put him here. But like, it's Richie. He has to at least go here. But yeah, I'm putting him here. Also, a little bit of a side note, this is later into the video, but I'm just now remembering. Amber and Richie are gonna go up to Super Solid Killers just because they're the only Ghostface duo that actually succeeded in their goals. It was like, yeah, we're gonna give some material for this requel to be made off of, and then we'll be the heroes, right? They actually, for what it's worth, they succeeded. So Sam does kill Richie, right? And then in the 6th movie, we can see how, because it's revealed that Sam is Billy's daughter, everyone thinks that she's the murderer. And then there are posts, like you can see it on Sam's phone when she's scrolling through Reddit for some reason. You can see there are posts that are like, Richie was innocent. Nothing about Amber, but still, they succeeded. Like, in the minds of the people, they are the innocents, and then Sam is the murderer that just gets to walk free. So yeah, that's a pretty notable feat. I think they're the only duo to ever actually succeed in that, right? Jules almost had it, but then she slipped up. There was no slip up here. Alright, and next we have Greg Bailey. Honestly, if you don't remember this guy, that's fine, because the first and only time we see him on screen is after he died. But basically, he was a film student that was Ghostface for some amount of time. It's hard to determine. But yeah, by the time we see him, he has no kills and he's chopped up in a refrigerator. So that's, in my mind, that's a good reason to be put in the boo tier. Alright, next we have Jason, who was the Ghostface we see in the opening of Scream 6. And he has a pretty good bit. So his whole thing was that he was on this date with this girl, or that was the idea. And then he ended up being able to lure her into a back alley and get some brutal stabs on her.
Slashers, huh? What's your favorite scary movie?
Not that one.
Like, I know it's like standard for a Ghostface to be just like damaging as hell, even though everyone loves to say like, oh, it's just a high schooler in a suit. Like, you hear that and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But for some reason, when people wear this costume in these movies, they become the strongest high schoolers in the world. Anyway, there's not much to say about Jason. He gets a really good kill, a really violent kill, I'll even add. So that almost carries him to here, but it's just, there's a lot more you have to be able to take into account in order to be a good Ghostface in my eyes. So yeah, I'll put him at meh. Alright, and next we have Ethan Kirsch, right? Yeah, Ethan Kirsch. Ethan Bailey is his fake name. But yeah, this is pretty much another family revenge plot, which it was cool the first time, but it's just like, it's kind of, that's the thing about these movies, is that it likes to run it runs its formulas dry, which is like intended because the movie is meant to be self-aware. But like, it always does bring new things into them. Like for instance, this is a family revenge plot, but instead of just being one family member, it's 3 of them that are related to the guy we killed last time. But yeah, Ethan on his own is, I don't know, I sussed him out pretty quickly. Like, they make it obvious. They're like there's a scene where they're sitting at the park and they're going through all who could be suspects, and then like Ethan is just so far apart from everyone else. It's just like, yeah, he clearly doesn't fit in with this group. I'm trying to think, what would Ethan's kills be? He didn't have the ladder, he didn't have Gail's boyfriend. He got kills, right? There has to be more. Okay, I'm sure I'm just forgetting or I didn't realize, but yeah, Ethan is looking like a jobber right now, I'll be honest. I'll put him in the boo tier, so now it's not just Greg. Alright, now we have Quinn, which, all things considered, she's a pretty impressive Ghostface. Like, she does the whole faking her death thing, which it's been done before, like most of everything has by this point in this franchise. But she takes great advantage of that because she literally never has to be accounted for. Ever. Which I guess you could say the same thing for Roman, but I don't know, it feels stronger in this movie because she gets to just be wherever she wants, and she does, and no one ever has to be like, where's Quinn? Because, oh yeah, she died. Quinn gets a lot of shit done too. Like, I think she deserves extra credit because she managed to take down Gail's boyfriend, who is like twice her size, and not only that, she got the jump on him, killed him, and then threw his body through a glass door. So, you know, she's pretty damn strong. Like, physically wise, that's just a good feat to have. Chemistry between these 3 is probably the strongest. I'd say outside of Billy and Stu, they probably have the strongest chemistry for sure. And yeah, on that note, yeah, it's also worth noting that Quinn has the ladder kill under her belt, which, yeah, I don't think could have been anyone else because, yeah, she swapped out with her body and the fake blood. So yeah, I think the ladder kill was hers as opposed to being Ethan's, which was, you know, one of the best scenes in that movie to me. So yeah, I'll say Quinn's a good Ghostface for sure. Alright, and next we have Detective Kirsch. I guess this doesn't really count since we never see him in the Ghostface like get up, But I think it would just be silly to say that he never wore it, because I think it's impossible, some of these kills. Like, I don't think Ethan or Quinn could have done. I'd say I like this plot. It's the first, if I remember correctly, it's the first time a cop has been a Ghostface accomplice, which, you know, that's a nice twist just for, you know, a newer movie. Like, it's cool that they're still 6 movies in, 7 soon. They're still finding new things to do with this heavily established franchise. His reveal is pretty decent, I guess. He becomes funnier now that he doesn't have to play the the good cop role, because like he gets caught and then immediately it was just like,
You?
Yeah, of course, me.
I'm tempted to say that Detective Bailey had no kills as Ghostface, but I think he was the shotgun kill at the gas station and then every other kill at the gas station, so that's for sure worth noting. The shotgun kill is one of the best Ghostface kills in the series. Would I say, okay, this is a difficult one to place. He's either good or meh. I have to sit on this for a while. I'll say he's decent. I mean, he has a good cover up and all that, but the motive is not that strong, or not anymore. I mean, he has good kills. The reveal was fine. Yeah, this is a deserving spot for him.
Hello, Detective Bailey. I've got one question for you. What's your favorite scary movie?
Come on, Sam, you gotta be excited to get our murder on again. Together, Billy and Sam, Team Loomis. Get ready to slice up more motherfuckers.
I'm asking because you're in one now. You're in my movie.
And then last but absolutely not least, we have Samantha Carpenter. I'm almost biased to put her at the top immediately just off of the fact that she's Billy's daughter, but there's more we have to take into account here. So, God, Sam in general is just one of the coolest characters in a franchise of movies like this that I've ever seen, because I could go on for days. The idea that Billy managed to have a kid before he died in the first Scream movie is like, it's such an interesting way of like giving new life to the series, because it works out completely well, because it creates tension between Sidney and Sam, because they do meet and it's just like they're on the same side, but yet they have to be like, oh yeah, you're still the daughter of this serial killer that used to be my boyfriend. It's just like, it's so cool. Anyway, I'm putting okay, I'm putting Sam in unfuckable, but let me explain why. So I feel like the way she executes, like wearing the suit, is perfect. Like, I guess the movie kind of sets that up for her, but still, Sam is just such a badass while she's doing this, because she's in the literal room compiled of every single Scream artifact up until this point in the series, and then she puts on, oh my god, she puts on Billy's costume, the original one, her father's. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And then even with that, she's unfuckable in the literal sense in the word, because she literally has Billy, like, literally talks to her. Like, I guess it's not like literal because he's a ghost and she can only see him in reflections. I think it's just meant to be a way of, it's supposed to be the movie's way of giving you something literal to latch onto, that she has this killer instinct from Billy, but like the idea that he can just like connect with her from beyond, it proves that she literally, you can't touch her, because no matter what, she still has that in her. And it's just like, I don't know where I'm going with this. Don't push her, basically. And yeah, and on top of that, she's also just fucking crazy when she gets the upper hand. Like, she did this to Richie and Detective Kirsch. They were like, she stabbed them each like 30 times. And then she, like, once she gets going, she just doesn't stop. I guess outside of Charlie's kill on Olivia, there's no like Ghostface kills that are as brutal as Sam's, in my opinion. You know, it would have really been beautiful if at the end of Scream 6, they would have had both Sam and Tara put on a Ghostface suit. So it could be like a duo, and then they could have gotten like their own There could have been like a second double Ghostface knife wipe with Sam and Tara on Detective Kirsch, but unfortunately that wouldn't have worked because Jenna Ortega is just too small. But yeah, Sam is unfuckable. I'm not negotiating that. The rest of this tier list, I'm willing to discuss if it just, you know, if you have differing opinions. Sam deserves to be in this spot though. I will not argue against that at all. But yeah, this is my final ranking of every Ghostface killer throughout the Scream franchise. I'd say I'm pretty content with this. Nancy Loomis being at the top, Amber right next to her, Richie right next. These three, yeah, I'd say this is a pretty solid list. If there's anything that I would be willing to change, it's I'd maybe move Ethan from here to here, but that's still not really a big change. So yeah, I'd say this is completely fine. Yeah, closing thoughts. I really love Scream. I think watching these movies back to back, it really put into perspective how just cool this franchise is. From the established rules to identify the killer, to the tropes this series is okay with like reusing and then remodifying and then adding on to those tropes. It's just like, it's so cool. It's so amazing to see how a movie franchise can be this self-aware and yet still have like fun with it and still make some of the coolest shit ever at the same time. And yeah, I guess last things I can say is just thank you to all of these actors for playing all of these killers. It's like yeah, I was shitting on Ethan and Greg and some of the other ones, but it's just like they really do bring these characters to life and it makes them so fun to watch, both like before and after you know that they are Ghostface, like after the reveals and whatnot and before the reveals and whatnot, like watching them back and seeing it's brilliant. These actors, like every single actor here does a great job of playing their own Ghostface, and I think that's worth saying, of course. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. If you want to debate, you can fight me in the comments because I truly don't think I'm wrong with any of these rankings. And yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna close this video off now. Bye.